morning. My name's Marsha, and I'm here at the Victoria store of Opus Art Supplies. And today we are going to do a demonstration of screen printing. It's a simple 3-color print, 2 paper stencils, 1 easy mask stencil. There's a number of very basic tools, and there's a number of specific tools as well. The basic ones are things like masking tape, double-sided tape. We've got a ruler here, and a cutting mat, which is going to be used for cutting stencils. And to cut stencils, you need to have a knife. This is a design knife, and it's very important when you're using a knife like this, not only to be safe, but also to have extra blades. A sharp knife is your best friend when cutting stencils for screen printing. So there's many kinds of inks that you can use. These two can be used for textile and paper. This one textile alone. The ink that I'm going to be using today is a medium. It's a golden silk screen medium, and the nice thing about it is that you don't have to have a full jar of each color. You can just have a jar of medium and then use your acrylic paints to mix in with it. When you're testing your print, you want to use newsprint. It's also good for cleaning your screen, and this is just bond photocopy paper for test prints. And the stock that we'll be finishing the print on is, today I'm using cards. This is a Strathmore stamping card. I've chosen the stamping cards today because they have the smoothest finish, which is the easiest for screen printing. I'm also going to do a few prints on some Stonehenge paper, which is a very good quality paper for printmaking. Hinge clamps on a baseboard. These are great. They're a hinge and a clamp. And so what you do with that is you attach your screen to it, and your screen will stay stationary for each successive print that you pull. The screen is made up of very tightly stretched polyester mesh, polyester or nylon mesh, stretched across a wooden frame. And that's what you adhere the stencil to, and it needs to be really tight to keep all of the multiple images the same each time. And this is the squeegee. This is the part that pushes the ink through the mesh, like that. One of the things to prepare the screen and the squeegee is to tape it up. Mostly this is for cleanliness, because we will have to clean the ink off of it at some point, and when we want to switch colors of ink. So just taping the grooves at the back. One thing to remember when you're doing this is that you're eating up some of the image area, so that needs to be in your plan. Okay, and now I'm going to tape the inside of the screen, probably even more important than taping the back, because there's a gap here. There's a spring to this mesh, and it's quite taut, but there's a gap there, and ink can get underneath there. And if it gets underneath there and you wash it off, but you don't see what's underneath, the next time you print, that ink can come out and contaminate your next color. And very important, the same thing with the screen and the squeegee. There's a gap between the blade, the rubber blade, and the wood, and the ink can get up in there. So you want to tape your squeegee for the same reason, to keep it clean, because when we're finished printing, it's going to be ink all over it, and we want to be able to clean it off easily. These are called thumbnail sketches to keep things organized and straight in terms of what I need to cut out. So it helps me keep my mind clear about what part do I need to cut again. I'm cutting my first stencil, and I'm starting out with a photocopy of an image that I have. I'm going to cut out the filling of the pie, and I'm going to cut along the black line right in the center of the black line. There's an important bit here, which means I need to not cut that piece right there, or else the stencil will fall apart. So that's the part where the ink is going to go through. Working out pretty good so far. The third one is going to be, not going to be a paper stencil, but it's basically the whole drawing of the pie, and that's going to be with the Maskey stencil. Something important for you to know is that the pie is facing that way, but the stencil on this yellow is going to be facing the other way. And that's okay, because when we attach the stencil to the screen, it's going to be facing that way again. And the kind of transfer I'm going to show you is really cool. It's called a blender marker transfer. And I'm going to take this Chart-Pack blender marker, which is a solvent-based marker. It's just a clear marker. There's no color is going to come out of it. And I'm going to rub it on the paper, and it will allow the photocopy ink to land on the yellow. And then you burnish it a bit. This is a bone folder. I'm just going to rub it When you're checking, you really want to be careful not to move it out of place in case you have to go back down again. So I'm cutting right on the edge of the black because I want all of the black part to be printed. And I'm not cutting through the center because this is going to overlap all of the other colored images. It'll make more sense when we see it. The next stage is to peel away the black part. So the transfer sheet is clear adhesive, and the adhesive is not as sticky as the yellow adhesive. And gently rub it, not too hard. So the real beauty of this Maskies is that you can move parts of stencils that are independent, and they will stay in place where they belong, such as the center, the filling of the pie. Okay, so now sticky side up, and we're taking the screen and we're going to put it face down. So this is the way it would be facing you when you're printing. So you can see that reversal. Now the pie's facing the right way, and I want it kind of dead center in the screen area. I'm not measuring it. I'm eyeballing it, but it should be dead center. Mainly that's for printing, because this is the sort of the sweet spot for printing in terms of the tension of the mesh, so that you get your best print. I'm just going to tape out the background because the ink will go through any open parts of the mesh, so you want to control those open parts. So the open part here is your image. You don't want the ink to go through these open parts, so I'm going to tape it out.